Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, from Eric Lima's Shenanigans of 1977, it's time to head back in our mental DeLoreans where we talk about things of pop culture back in the 80s and 90s with nostalgic shenanigans. And our host of this great segment is the youngster in the picture from the first grade in the 80s, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima's Shenanigans 1977, episode number 2326, and this is the fourth installment of Nostalgic Shenanigans. Nostalgic Shenanigans is when I talk about things of the pop culture of the past, like the 80s and 90s where I grew up on, whether it be retail stores, TV shows, special celebrity tributes, like if somebody, of a favorite celebrity of mine from back in the day ends up passing away, I pay a tribute. Like on the last episode of Nostalgic Shenanigans, I paid tribute to one Wink Martindale, the late great game show hosting legend Wink Martindale, for his contributions to the game shows that he's hosted over the years. But today I'm going to talk about a store of my time, a store that I grew up shopping at one point, and a store that brought a joy to my life when I was a young child. Now, now for those of you folks that want to know the name of this shirt, the name of this shirt is Child World. Now, I am going to talk a little bit about Child World. I'm going to do the best I can by doing this. And all right. Now we're going back. We're going way back, folks. All right. Now, Child World, or is usually known as Children's Palace, was an American toy retailer founded in 1962. It had 182 sites, revenues 830 million, but then it ballooned up to 1.62 billion in 2023. And before falling in 1992. So, it's known for its distinctive stylized castle exterior, adopted after his 1975 purchase of the Children's Palace store chain. Now, I gotta tell you, wow. Okay. The history, it all started. It was founded by Joseph Amasano and Sid Schneider in Quincy, Massachusetts, in 1962, and then when it became a publicly traded corporation in '68. It was based in Avon, Massachusetts, and then 1975 it merged with Children's Palace, and then Cole National Corporation bought it in '81, and then it was followed by Kohlberg Kravis Roberts takeover of Cole, and so it did. It was based in Massachusetts, and then April of '92 it filed for Chapter 11. And that's when it would all close down. Now, come to find out that an investment firm in 2022 was rebranded Children's Palace. Operates 7-year locations in Ohio and Florida. Also operates seasonal pop-up stores during the holiday shopping season. So in a way, it's still alive. But I didn't know there was pop culture references to Child World. Give me a second here, because I'm looking at this in Wikipedia and pop culture. It was a Childwood store in 7600 West Roosevelt, Forest Park, Illinois. Since it was demolished, it was used as Martin Scorsese's 1986 film The Color of Money, where Tom Cruise's character worked as a clerk, and Paul Newman's character Fast Eddie came to see him to be his protege in Pool. And then Mark Wahlberg mentioned it in Ted 2 as a place where Ted the Foul-Mouthed Bear was purchased. So, yep, and so here's the 411 on why I might want to talk about a little bit about Child World. Giving you a little bit of history on it. Child World was one of my favorite toy stores when I was a kid to go to back in the day. Back in the day, for me, Child World was the store, was the toy store. It was at the North Dartmouth Mall back in the 1970s, the mall that I work at now. And it was, if you go now, for all my local friends, if you go inside the Dartmouth Mall nowadays, check out the location Hot Topic and Journeys, Lids, and Pandora. That's where the Child World toy store originated from. Then they had room, across the street when Ann and Hope Plaza is. They moved there. Now, when Child World was part of the mall, I used to collect some Tomy Pocket games. There were 4 stores that where I usually buy Tomy Pocket games. Child World would be one of them. Zayre and Woolworth. And the 4th one was Kmart, obviously. But also, Child World was where I collected my He-Man action figures. When I used to be a big He-Man fan when I was a kid. I thought He-Man was really cool. When I was a kid, I used to buy He-Man figures from there. But the big thing the big impact that Child World had was on my gaming. On my love for gaming. Because Child World, when it moved across the street in the mid-'80s from the Dartmouth Mall in Ann and Hope Plaza, me and my father went there in February 1988, where I bought my first NES system in 1988. Could you believe it? Almost 40 years ago. Almost 40 years ago. We're talking 37 years ago. I had a Nintendo system for 37 years. Yep, I bought the Nintendo. It was the power set, Had the pad for World Class Track Meet, had the zapper for Duck Hunt, and had Super Mario Brothers, a triple pack containing 3 games. They said, and they didn't tell you what the 3 games were. Like we knew, it was Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and now World Class Track Meet. If you buy the challenge set, if you buy the action set, it would be Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. If you buy the challenge set, it will just be with Super Mario Bros. 3. But I got the power set, and it cost me, and it cost my father back then, because I didn't have a job. If I had a job, if I worked at a job back then, I would have picked up on a Nintendo. If I was born in the 60s and then having a job in 1980s, working at the mall or something like that, I would have pre-ordered or picked up a Nintendo set right away. But I was born in 77, a little late. It cost my dad $150 to get the Nintendo Power set. It's really cool. It was really cool, the Nintendo Power set. And the crazy part is, the old saying, "Do not open till Christmas." Well, do not open till my birthday. Yeah. So because we bought it in February, so I had to wait a couple of weeks to open it up. To get it opened up, and we had a gaming party, so to speak. I had all my friends over. So I had a friend next door, Josh Vieira. He was like, I said, "I'll bring my games over." Bring your games over. We'll play. I want to play some Super Mario Brothers, because that was my favorite Nintendo game of all time. Super Mario Bros. 3 is, but Super Mario Bros. 1, I mean, come on. I mean, that's the iconic game. And, yeah, it's too bad it closed in 1992, because Power Rangers was the big toy thing in 93. Had Child World stayed open for another year, I'm sure it would have succeeded bringing in the Power Ranger toys. Because I was like, it's like, what if Child World stayed open beyond 1992? I mean, you think about it, the toy store. Imagine like the Power Ranger figure. They would have like a freaking section. They would have had a section of Power Rangers, man. You talk about Child World. Everybody would be fighting in Child World, man. You know, those Christmas shopping, Black Friday nowadays. Holy mackerel! You feel like this guy Michael Cole and Pat McAfee call a WrestleMania in a mall, Mall-a-mania. You know, there's steel chairs and everything else. Hardcore matches happening all over the place. You know, but anyways, yeah. Child World was the store before Toys R Us became the big one. It was the store in Massachusetts, in the South Coast, especially in Massachusetts. You know, Zare and Child World were based in Massachusetts, man. Child World was the toy store. The mascot was Peter Panda, you know, and had one of the jingles that I liked back in the day. Child World, store, and a whole lot more. And that was pretty good, but that was one of my favorite jingles of Child World back in the day. Like I said, Nintendo was a big thing to, and in order to get like a video game back in the day, I think you had to have a slip. Toys R Us did it too. You had to have a slip. You could grab a slip and hand it over to the cashier. Hey, I want to get one. You know, can you get me one of these? You know, Child World where I got my first Game Boy. No, not Child World. Toys R Us was where I got my first Game Boy Advance. Well, Child World was another. Child World was where I got my first Nintendo. And if it had not been for Child World, who knew? You know, what would have happened? You know, so that's why I consider Child World a toy store that I would miss. If they brought it back and said, well, we'll get some stores in Massachusetts, I'll definitely just go there just to get some video games. You know, who knew what would have happened if Child World was still around in beyond 1982? Will it have been successful with the sale of Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers toys? I don't know. We'll never know the answer to that. One thing's for sure, though. Like I said, I think I had to buy some Transformers there at Child World as well. But anyways, Child World was a toy store. That was here in the United States. Now, like I said, they had some in Chicago. They had one in Chicago. Like I said, it's been referenced, so there's a reason why I wear this t-shirt. It's my favorite toys, one of my favorite toy stores I shopped at when I was a kid growing up. I know him, so I figured just before everybody gets their brains in the tither, because lots of craziness happens on the internet, this is, I figured I would tell you what the store is all about. And do I miss Child World? Heck yes. Heck yes, I do. You know, I want to show my nieces and nephews. See, this is where your Uncle Eric used to shop. Child World. It's where Uncle Eric got his first Nintendo system. Who would have thought? And now this year, Nintendo Entertainment System is 40 years old. I wonder what they have planned for Nintendo's 40th anniversary of the old NES system. I should get a new version of the NES Classic Edition. That's my opinion. Super Mario Bros. Will be turning 40 this year. I wonder what they got planned for that. Who knows? It's going to be insane, let me tell you. Hopefully they come out with a game that will convince me to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, Child World helped me grow my gaming skills. With my dad purchasing a Nintendo Power Set from Child World for my birthday. I almost bought the board game of Finders Keepers for my birthday. They sold that there. And my parents, I was going to buy it. My parents threatened, though, if I talk about Nintendo, I'd be punished. So I put it back. But, you know, sometimes things have a time, things have a way. And I managed to get a Finders Keepers board game. And I'm very happy about that. So, there you have it. Nostalgic Shenanigans, episode number 4. Child World. So, that's all the time we have on the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Episode 2326 of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. Nostalgic Shenanigans number 4, ladies and gentlemen. And it's all about the Child World toy store. From back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and first half of the 90s. Well, that's it for today. I will get back to you on another episode of the show. I'll see you guys later. Like I said, tonight we got Evolve and AEW, Grand Slam Mexico. Really excited about that. We'll tune in. All right, I'll see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful blessed rest of your day. Excuse me. And until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, please take us home, sir. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and door for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.